one perfume a day for a year. This is mostly just an excuse to go through my entire collection. Granted, a lot of them are teeny weeny samples. I've never experienced half of the samples that I have. Now, I'm not going to post one video a day, but I am going to film every day. I'll probably post videos that's documenting 4 or 5 days at a time. I don't know how consistently I will edit and post them, but I will still be filming one fragrance per day. And today, on January 1st, we are doing Sucreabeille's Glittertrash. Now, I only have a teeny weeny sample in like an oil. I know they do make a bottle that's made with like perfume alcohol, and it supposedly has glitter in the bottle. I'm choosing this for January 1st because it feels like that's what they want you to do. It wants you to smell like after party. And their description is: the bathroom floor of a cheap motel, glitter all over your body, last night's champagne lingering in your mouth, mixed with watermelon blow pop, and taking a lot of shots between champagne swigs, taking fistfuls of white cake and shoving them into your mouth, still, the icing still stuck to your fingers. So here we go. I'm just gonna do a little dabby dab on my wrist. Okay, yeah, the notes are supposed to be powdery notes, champagne, watermelon, cupcake, whipped cream, and coconut. So right off the bat, this smells like fruity and plasticky. Like, I guess it's a little bit watermelon-y, so you know, like the watermelon blow pop, but like, get rid of the blow pop, you just have the wrapper. There's supposed to be a sparkly champagne note in here, but to me, it's not sparkly, it's not fizzy. It kind of smells more like static cling. I don't know if everybody can smell that. It's almost like a metallic smell. And maybe it's because I just have a little dram of oil. It smells like, it does smell like fatty carrier oil. It has like a fatty aldehyde-y kind of smell to it. I guess there's a little vanilla in there. You know, they're supposed to be like, oh, vanilla cake or cupcake, or you shoving cake into your mouth as part of the description. I smell it a little bit, but to me it's more fruity. Who wants to be reminded of their hangover headache and the cold tile floor of your cheap motel room, blisters from your ill-fitting shoes, washing the vomit off of your sequin dress? You're scrambling to clean up your mess and get it into a plastic hefty bag, lest the hotel charge you a cleaning fee. And I really don't get the creamy coconut. I don't get whipped cream. I don't get the fizz. It's just like a stale plastic bag, sugary smell. And like, I get it. Sucreabeille does not want to smell sexy or like girly or pretty. You know, they want to smell weird, which is fine. But this is a hot mess express. This is not something I would want as a skin scent. Like, I could see this being a weird, like, room scent. I could see you spraying this in like your weird art studio room if it like helps trigger inspiration or creativity. You could potentially spray this in a kitchen or a bathroom, and it will just smell like, it'll smell like you just cleaned, not necessarily in like the fresh scent way, but in like, you know, plastic hefty bag, like artificial scented way. Like, it will smell like you just cleaned without smelling like a cleaner, if that makes sense. So how was your New Year's Eve? I actually did have a little bit of a party. I had some friends come over, and we did have some nice champagne. I splurged on the Veuve Clicquot Rich, not the regular, but the Rich. It's a little sweeter. It tastes really good if you add a cucumber. No vanilla cake, but I did make vegan coquito. So my night did involve some coconut and some champagne. So if I partied hard enough, I should smell like this naturally. But I didn't. It smells like you opened the lid of your garbage can in your kitchen the day after cleaning up all the New Year's Eve party mess. And it's not like disgusting, offensive garbage, but it does smell old and stale and plasticky and a little bit like nausea-inducing if you smell it long enough. It is weird. This is not the worst thing to smell like, but you could smell better. But anyway, Happy New Year, everybody. And I'll be back in just a bit for January January 2nd. What do we wear the second day of January? Hello, January 2nd. Is it my cat in the background? Ha, yeah. I found out I actually had to go teach today. For some reason, I thought that I had an extra day off and that I didn't have to work today, but apparently I go back to teach today. And I have a rule about perfume and going to work, and it is never waste the good perfume on work. Because, number one, I'm a ballet teacher. I'm probably going to get a little bit sweaty and gross anyway as I'm teaching and demonstrating everything. And I'm mostly surrounded by young kids or tweens or teenagers that don't really have refined taste for fragrance. So I can wear pretty much the most obnoxious, sweet, like cloying gourmand, and they'll be like, "Miss Victoria smells so good." So on that note, my January 2nd fragrance is going to be Aqualina's Pink Sugar Berry Blast. I got this as a tester bottle, super cheap. I don't even know why. I mean, I like the original Pink Sugar, and I thought this might actually be kind of good because I'm a little bit sensitive to the licorice note in Pink Sugar, and people were saying that this is like a much more wearable version. But to me, as much as I am sensitive to licorice, I feel like that licorice note in OG Pink Sugar is needed to kind of dirty up or like balance all of the sweetness that's in there, because this is straight berries and sugar, and it's super, super sweet, and I'm almost wishing that there was something a little dirty or spicy to rein it in, give it a base, like more, just keep it grounded a little bit. But like I said, it doesn't matter if it's awful. I'm wearing it around a bunch of kids, and I'm just going to spray it on my clothes. I organize my fragrances by season. A lot of it is influenced by how people vote on Fragrantica, but sometimes it's just how I feel about it too. So most of my super heavy, syrupy, sweet, cloying gourmands are winter fragrances. So we are going to be going through a lot of gourmands as we go through January, February, and maybe even most of March, because where I live, it stays pretty cold until like the end of March. Top notes are blueberry, blackberry, orange, and bergamot. And for some reason, I smell them more today than I've ever smelled them before in my life. Like, I actually got a little bit of tart blackberry and that citrus. Usually I don't get that at all. Usually I miss those top notes right away, and it goes straight into like cherry and cotton candy, which are the middle notes, along with, I think, strawberry. And they got like, at least on Fragrantica, there's like a cork note in there. Don't know why or what that's supposed to do. It's not a bad smell. It's just not something you would expect to be put in here. And the base notes are the typical caramel, vanilla, tonka bean, cedar, and moss or oak moss. So overall, it's really not bad. If you like sweet gourmands, if you like fruity sweet fragrances and you don't really like florals, you would like this. It's a good bang for your buck. It does last a long time. It's a crowd pleaser for young kids. Like I said, I'm going to work. I'm going to be surrounded by mostly young kids. It smells like a really like fun, fruity kids shampoo. Like once the top notes of the really, really juicy, edible berry and citrus notes fade, it is actually quite clean as far as gourmands go. It is not as sticky and not as caramelly and not as burnt sugary as OG Pink Sugar. Like OG Pink Sugar, it's like cotton candy, like burnt cotton candy, caramel, licorice. It's just all of this like sweet, 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 syrupy, edible, like carnival food. And this has a little bit of that, but it also has a lot of like fruity berry notes on top. But then once they fade, it is actually like not as edible. Like if you sprayed this in a room, you would be like, oh, that is a fragrance that is meant to smell edible. Like that you cannot actually eat that. You would smell this and be like, no, I can't actually eat that. If somebody sprayed OG Pink Sugar and you didn't know that it came out of a bottle, you'd be like, oh wow, who's making cotton candy? You know, so this is a little bit less photorealistic I guess. OG pink sugar is much more like photorealistic. Somebody sprays that and you think you're at a carnival, and somebody's got the cotton candy machine going. A lot more work and care went into OG pink sugar, and that may be why it's also a little more expensive. But like I said, I'm not gonna waste the good fragrance on the kids at work, so it's this. And yeah, happy January 2nd. I hope your January is going well so far. I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, where's my phone? Yes, here I am, back in my pajamas again. Pajamas? PJs. My robe. I'm in my robe again. Today is a day off. I don't have work. I don't have to teach. And I also have a pretty painful period. Not that that really matters, but today feels like a lazy, sleepy day for me. And that did somewhat influence my fragrance for today, for January 3rd. As I mentioned previously, a lot of my sweet, fruity gourmands are winter fragrances, so we're going to be going through a lot of those in the coming weeks and months. But because of today's overall sleepy vibe, sleepy lazy day vibe, I chose Ariana Grande Moonlight. Top notes of plum, black currant, middle notes of marshmallow and peony, base notes of vanilla, sandalwood, and amber. I thought Jerome Epinette was behind some of the Ariana Grande fragrances. If I see Jerome Epinette is the nose behind it, I buy it. I don't even care what it is. He's one of my favorite perfumers. I don't know if he did this one, though. When I first got this, I was expecting it to be more edible. I was expecting it almost to smell more like Berry Blast that we were wearing yesterday. I was expecting it to be more fruit forward. I really wanted this to smell like blackberry, like a berry tart with some vanilla whipped cream or marshmallows. Like, I really wanted it to smell more gourmand. So this is actually not as gourmand as you would think by reading the notes. This smells very perfumey. You would almost think that there's a white floral, like a jasmine or a lily or lily of the valley. Like, there is something almost white and fresh and almost green. It really is not giving berries and marshmallows like I hoped it would. That being said, it is very soft and gentle. While I don't smell marshmallow, I do smell a little bit of like fluffiness in there. I guess that's kind of why, we got this thing going on. I do smell a little bit of fluffiness. And like I said, because I smell that fluffiness, but I also smell like a very slight soapiness to it, it does kind of remind me of like freshly washed linens, like freshly washed bed sheets that happen to also have the slightest bit of a sweet, fruity undertone to it. So like, this does not smell edible. It does smell sweet, it does smell fruity, but it smells more like clean and soft, and like I said, kind of fluffy and cozy, which is why I chose this for a sleepy, lazy day where I'm just kind of like in bed due to menstrual cramps and wearing my robe and just kind of like being lazy and doing nothing. Like, this somehow actually does smell like a sleepy time perfume. It is appropriately named Moonlight. It does smell like you're ready to go to bed. So that's what I chose for my January 3rd, not necessarily because it resonates with the number 3 or because I think like, oh, this is just what you wear on the 3rd day of the new year. It's just because for me, I'm having a low-key, lazy, sleepy, cozy day, and I thought that this kind of matched the vibe that I was going through today. So happy January. Happy January 3rd, everybody. I don't know what I'm gonna wear tomorrow, but I do have work again tomorrow. I do have to teach again tomorrow. So tomorrow is probably going to be another like cheapy, gourmand, not very refined, not very floral, probably, another like, weird, fruity, sweet, sugary something. Like I said, I don't waste the good perfumes on work. So I will see you tomorrow. January 4th, day 4. Okay, so I just finished taking a ballet class. And then I have to go teach ballet in a few hours. So I'm not even going to bother showering in between. I know that seems gross, but like I just showered last night. So even though I sweat a little bit, I'm not like, rank. And I'm going to sweat again anyway in just a couple of hours and then have to take another shower when I get home anyway. So I'm just going to be smelly. And this morning I applied that like salty Sol de Janeiro deodorant. I forget what it's actually called, but it's like the salty pistachio deodorant. So I'm feeling like a vanilla salty vibe today, and I know I said I usually don't waste the good perfumes on teaching, but this is just a weenie sample that I'm not even that fond of anyway, so if I use it up and get rid of it today, I don't care. It's Paco Rabanne Olympéa Intense. According to Fragrantica, lots of vanilla, lots of amber, salt, orange blossom, ambergris, I think synthetic ambergris, grapefruit blossom, white pepper, and cedar. So, like, this is okay. I like amber, I like vanilla, I do like salt, but I feel like with this, it just kind of ends up smelling a little Play-Doh-y. So, like I said, I'm not even particularly fond of this. I know a lot of people love it, and I know it is kind of expensive, and I know I said I don't want to waste the good perfumes on work, but like I said, I don't really care about this one that much. And I've already got the salty vanilla vibe going with my deodorant. I might change my clothes, get out of the sweaty leotard and put on a new thing to sweat in, but yeah, here we go. So just a sample. I've used like half of it. It's okay. This is somehow voted as a cool weather. I think just because it is so sweet and like balsamic and animalic. I don't know. Anyway, here we go. We're just gonna give a little this, little that. Maybe on the wrists too. A lot of people say that Police 2B, the skull bottle, misbeat the little pink skull with the purple headphones on it. Super cheap. A lot of people say that that is a dupe for this. A lot of people smell that and say that that is like almost identical to this. I disagree. I think misbeat is a little sweeter and a little spicier. To me, misbeat almost reminds me of a dupe for Alien Fusion. There's just something kind of like gingery, maybe cinnamony, white floral in there. I don't know. Like, I think this is much more linear. This is just, this is what it says it is. Vanilla, amber, salt. I don't get a whole lot of black pepper. I don't get a lot of blossom, neither orange blossom nor grapefruit blossom. Cedar, yes, in the bottom, but the top is all very strong, punchy amber, vanilla, and salt. And there are some synthetic ambers, formulas or ingredients. I forget what it's called. It's like ambrosinide or something. There is some amber molecule that I am very sensitive to, and that is all I smell. What was the example? It was like Arabian's tonka or something. I could not smell anything else in there. It was just straight up super strong, sinus puckering, pissy, ammonia, amber. Like whatever that molecule was. It was awful, and even though I sprayed it on my wrist, everything that I touched smelled after that. I scrubbed 3 different times. I could still smell it. It still contaminated everything I touched. It still haunts me to this day, even though when I sampled it, it was like December. It was last month, sometime before Christmas. So that is to say, I like amber if it's a specific formulation. So this is very ambery and I really like it, but there are other ambers that I cannot tolerate at all. So whatever they did with this amber, they did it nice. They did it well. From what I recall, this does last a long time. This does dry down really nicely. This is nice overall. If you're into amber, vanilla, balsamic, salty kind of fragrances, you'd like this. It lasts, it has a nice projection. But for some reason, for me, this is just a little bit Play-Doh-y. It's a little bit like one-dimensional. You know, I would maybe want to smell more florals in here, or like I said, something along the lines of alien fusion, like a little bit of like a cinnamon or like a ginger or something. You know, something more than just cedar. It goes very well with the salty pistachio deodorant. So yeah, this is my day 4 perfume. I don't associate it numerically with anything. I did not wake up and go, January 4th really feels like Paco Rabanne Olympéa Intense. No, it just so happened that I wore the salty pistachio deodorant and I'm a little bit sweaty and I don't plan on showering, so I wanted something that complemented all of those things. That's it. Nice cool weather fragrance, I guess, according to the people that voted on Fragrantica. Never tried it in warm weather. Maybe it would be too much. I usually associate salty with summertime because like salty ocean and stuff, but like maybe this would get too heavy in hot weather. Like this is really strong and I feel like you need cool weather for strong sweet things like this. Yeah, so that's it. I hope you are enjoying your January so far. Goodbye, everybody.